पंजाब केसरी नवोदय टाइम्स में आज हमारे साथ है सिंगर एंड कंपोजर आनंद भास्कर, जिन्होंने अमेजिंग म्यूजिक दिया है, गाने दिए हैं और अब एक ऐसे शो की, एक ऐसे सीरीज के गानों को कंपोज किया है जिसके बारे में ऑलरेडी देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ नॉइज। शो टाइम की बात कर रही हूँ। आनंद से ढेर सारी बातें इसके बारे में करेंगे, पर सबसे पहले आनंद, वार्म वार्म वेलकम टू यू ऑन आवर प्लेटफॉर्म।
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
So series is already making a lot of noise for so many reasons, और यहाँ पर अब इसका जो म्यूजिक लॉन्च हुआ है, that's become one more reason for it to make a lot of noise. You've been part of composing 4 songs, so how has the experience been?
Actually, 5 songs.
5, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
And
bad.
I'm also the composer of the score of the background score of the show. So
Mhm.
so most of the music for the show has been composed by me. The experience, as is working with my director Mihir, has always been amazing. This is my third project with him, and you know, uh, part of the sort of joy that comes from composing for a project like this is the fact that you have a good director who knows how to speak to you in musical terminology, might I add, because Mihir is like a sponge. When I throw musical terms at him, he absorbs them. He understands what they mean, and uh, he just knows exactly what he wants. But at the same time, he lets me do what I want, and I think that's a good sort of setup for us to like create something nice. At least both of us think whatever we've done is good. Now I hope the audience also kind of shares our opinion on the music.
Right. But how did it happen? How were you approached, and किस तरह से हुआ ये सब कुछ?
So I've been working with Mihir. I met Mihir during Mirzapur season 1.
Mhm.
He was the director. He was one of the directors in Mirzapur season 1, and he first for and I think Gurmeet, the other director and the showrunner, entrusted Mihir with the music for all the projects. So then that's how we ended up spending time together for the first season, and we wrote something. And both of us, we don't believe in writing something conventional. Even if the brief is conventional, we kind of try to do something quirky with it. And I think when we did something like that with season 1, both of us kind of clicked personality wise, and we kind of became friends. And then when season 2 happened, and then I got to spend even more time with him. And season 2 was a longer album.
Mhm.
It was 7 songs. And during the course of that time, we explored like various genres, and we would keep sending each other references and songs, and you know, and stuff that we like, stuff that we hate, stuff that we enjoy, stuff that we find cringe, all of that. And you know, like over the course of time, we became friends. And then when Showtime was happening, he had told me, uh, no, actually, after Mirzapur season 2, we worked on Masoom for Hotstar, which was, I think, when it released, it was the most streamed Hindi web series for 6 weeks,
Hmm.
and it won me 3 Best Composer awards as well. And that was a completely different brief from what we did for Mirzapur. It was world music meeting Punjabi folk, and I'm a South Indian, born and raised in Delhi, so it was just an eclectic mix of like influences and whatever. And once we found that success in Masoom's music is when he told me that I'm doing something, for I'm doing another project. I'll let you know. I didn't know it was Showtime or Dramatics or whatever.
Mhm.
Then once things were like kind of set up is when he called me and said, "Listen, I'm doing this project for Dharma," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "So let's do something again this time. This is going to be very different." So all this while, we were doing something very niche, very. So Mirzapur was all folk and rural. Masoom was all world music and folk.
Hmm.
This very pop and hip hop and lots of rock influences and stuff like that. And I've been a rock musician all my life, and I wanted to kind of channelize that in some project of mine. And I love hip hop, and I love modern pop productions as well. So this was a great opportunity for me to do something absolutely out and out commercial. And I think when he sent me the script, I said, okay, cool, I'll start writing some music even before you guys start shooting. And then that's been my process with like all my directors anyway. Like I start writing music at the script level, and then by the time they are done with like a significant part of the shoot, and then we do another meeting, I have a lot of music to present to them purely based on the script and the world it has built in my head. And
Right.
more often than not, that really works because my brain is actually reacting to the story and not the visuals, right? And as a
Hmm.
composer, I also write music to story and not visuals so much. Of course, the editing is done to visuals, but uh, so that's how Showtime really happened. And then Archit, the other director, him and Archit and I had worked together on a web series that Archit had directed called
Okay.
Dr. Aroda. It was produced by Imtiaz Ali and his production house Window Seat Films. So Archit I knew from before, Mihir I knew from before. So the comfort was always there. And when I played them a lot of the music that I had written, they were quite happy with what they heard. And then we kind of like shortlisted what they really wanted, and then we went from there. So that's how it
Right.
happened. Really.
Right.
Yeah.
But, when you compose for films and when you compose for web series, तो उसमें कुछ difference होता है? Is the process any different or is the briefing any different?
The process is not very different. The process is nearly the same, but the expectations are different, really, because what happens is that in a film, you're expected to write a hit no matter what. In web series, you're expected to write to a story, you know, and there's a lot. I think there's a lot at stake when it comes to music and films. And I get it, like labels invest money, and they want something that really works, and
Right.
they want something that they think really works. I mean, it may or may not work, but they think they want something that they think is going to maybe like work with the masses or whatever. So that's something that I feel is the difference. That's the only difference. Other than that, when I write music with the same fervor and passion for whatever I'm working on, whether it's my band, whether it's web series, or whether it's films, because I want my music to sound consistent across all the platforms that the music is being written for. And people should just immediately hear it and know that, okay, Anand wrote this music. It's just that. So for me, the writing process is the same, but
Hmm.
uh, the briefs, the way the sort of the core sort of motivation of the brief changes depending on what kind of project I'm working on.
राइट, तो टॉकिंग अबाउट शो टाइम पर से, एक ऐसा शो है जहां हमको बॉलीवुड के बिहाइंड द सीन्स एंड व्हाट गोज ऑन बिफोर अ फाइनल प्रोडक्ट रीचेस आवर आईज, ये सारी चीजें जो छोटे छोटे नुआंसेस हैं वो पता चलेंगे. सो वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग अ लॉट ऑफ ड्रामा, वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग अ लॉट ऑफ
Yeah.
थ्रिल, एंड बैकग्राउंड स्कोर जो है वो बड़ा एक इम्पॉर्टेंट सिग्निफिकेंट एस्पेक्ट होता है किसी भी चीज को
हाँ.
एनहांस करने के लिए, उसके थ्रिल को एनहांस करने के लिए. सो टॉकिंग अबाउट ये जो आपने बैकग्राउंड स्कोर लिया है, is
Hmm.
it going to add to that whole dramatic effect of the story we're expecting?
हाँ, मतलब इन द सेंस हर कैरेक्टर की एक बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग प्रेजेंस है इस
हाँ.
कहानी में. तो it only it only like it's only fair that they have this support from music, which kind of makes them appear to be you know uh, they which kind of leaves a lasting impact on the person who's watching the story, right? If this is a positive character or a negative character, the music kind of
Hmm.
helps enhance those aspects of that particular character. And but for me, I feel I don't write music. I don't write a score that jumps out at you. For me, the importance of a score is that आप अगर कोई मेरा शो देख रहे हो, मेरी फिल्म देख रहे हो, और उसमें स्कोर आता है, तो आपको पता नहीं लगना चाहिए कि इसके पीछे म्यूजिक है. Because the music should come and go and you should not know.
Hmm.
The emotion has been conveyed, and then later on when you watch it, you realize, oh, अच्छा इसमें म्यूजिक भी था. You know, I don't want my music to trump the story. I don't want my music to drown out the dialogues. मुझे अपनी संगीतकारी नहीं दिखानी है वहां पे. मुझे मुझे अपनी जो कहानी है उसको उसमें मुझे वैल्यू एडिशन करना है. तो आई फील लाइक आई फील दैट अप्रोच फॉर ऑल माय प्रोजेक्ट्स इज द सेम. एंड रही बात जो ड्रामा है, या देयर इज आल्सो लाइक एन अंडरलाइंग सेंस ऑफ humor throughout the show.
हाँ.
It's like
हाँ.
a dark comedy kind of a thing happening. uh, I think that definitely is enhanced by music, and that was always our focus. Like Archit Mahir and I, we were all constantly focusing on that. Ki ha, we need to kind of make sure that the music really works. अब जहाँ पे देसी एलिमेंट्स डालने हैं वहां देसी एलिमेंट्स डालेंगे, जहाँ पे हमें लगता है कि अच्छा वी नीड टू ऐड सम कूल्स टू दिस पर्टिकुलर track or the sequence or whatever, then we use elements from hip hop or rock or sometimes even combine them. So yeah,
Hmm.
it was fun. Like all the music that we've written for the show is a lot of fun. If I have to describe it in one word, it's fun music.
ओके ओके एंड गानों की अगर बात करें तो 5 songs as you said you've composed, तो ये क्या कैरेक्टर्स को या जो कहानी का नैरेटिव है उसको आगे लेके जाते हैं, उनके बारे में कुछ बताते हैं?
जैसे कुछ गाने हैं जो एक सीक्वेंस को दर्शाते हैं बेसिकली कि क्या हो रहा है हर कैरेक्टर की लाइफ में और कैसे उनकी जिंदगियां जो हैं जुड़ी हैं, कुछ कुछ हुआ
हम्म।
है जिसकी वजह से उनकी जिंदगियां जुड़ी हैं और उनकी उसमें कुछ कुछ हो रहा है, तो वो गाना उस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से लिखा गया है कि अ, जब जब जनता वो गाना सुनेगी तो उनको लगेगा अच्छा इस पे भी अप्लाई हो रहा है, इस पे भी अप्लाई हो रहा है, इस पे भी अप्लाई हो रहा है। फिर जैसे हमारी जो मेन कैरेक्टर हैं उनका कुछ उनके कुछ कैरेक्टर यूएसपीज हैं कि वो पहले जो थी वो बॉलीवुड को बाहर से देख रही थी। हाँ, और मतलब उनका क्या है कि वो उनका अंडरस्टैंडिंग क्या है और उनकी डेली लाइफ की स्ट्रगल्स क्या हैं, तो
हम्म।
उस पे उसके बेसिस पे एक गाना बना है जो उनकी जो बेसिकली उनका क्या कहते हैं, how she lives in Bombay, which is a challenging city, and the kind of struggles she goes through as as somebody who has to face challenges. As a song called Bombay on the soundtrack, which is about this. So it's a rap. It's primarily a very like lo-fi hip hop kind of a song with a melodic chorus, and then there are elements of Nashik dhol, which kind of gives
करेक्ट
you
फील।
the, the Bombay feel, and she's rapping over the rapper Pratika. She's rapping over the Nashik dhol suddenly, and she's saying ghis ghis ke. Like it's a good vibe. Like you should listen to it so you'll know what I'm talking about. So yeah, all songs kind of apply. Then अभी कल एक टीजर निकला था जिसमें राजीव, आई एम नॉट एन एक्टर तो सभी हैं, आई एम अ स्टार, you know and there's a song called Lucky Lover which is associated with him
हम्म।
in some way. I will not tell more because then that'll become a spoiler. So so yeah, so like yeah, like all the songs kind of fit in a way. Then there is Nasir Sahab, godfather of romance kind of a character, and so we have a song called Mahru, which is basically how somebody like him in the film industry, somebody who's a stalwart of the industry, who's produced so many big films, sees romance at such a grand scale. It's about that, you know, like that. So yeah, so every song is about a certain, you know, not only character, but how the character influences the story, and what it basically is like is a storytelling of their
हम्म।
experience, of their life experience,
करेक्ट
and how they've reached here in the story.
करेक्ट, आई थिंक
Yeah.
वो बड़ा एक्साइटिंग होगा देखना, बिकॉज एज इट इज एनीथिंग अबाउट बॉलीवुड, कोई भी छोटी सी गॉसिप न्यूज हमारे लिए बड़ी एक्साइटिंग होती है, एंड देन टू सी इट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ म्यूजिक ऑल्सो
And
अनरावल होना, वो भी बड़ा एक्साइटिंग होगा। बट आनंद, आपसे मुझे ये जानना है कि अपना राइटिंग फॉर बैंड के लिए लिखना, फिर राइटिंग फॉर फिल्म्स, कंपोजिंग फॉर फिल्म्स, एंड देन हाउ डू यू बैलेंस ऑल दिस? मतलब ये डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है, चैलेंजिंग हो जाता है, या विद सो मच एक्सपीरियंस यू हैव मास्टर्ड द आर्ट नाउ?
चैलेंजिंग था काफी। तो हम अब क्या करते हैं कि जैसे मेरे बैंडमेट्स भी खुद कंपोजर्स हैं,
हम्म।
वो लोग भी फिल्म्स और वेब सीरीज वगैरह में कम काम करते हैं। तो हम लोग and also we are a little disciplined when it comes to life. We wake up on time, we exercise, we don't drink, smoke, nothing like that. So for us it's easy to align our calendars and we figure out where the overlap of बैंड का काम तो वहीं हो जाता है. And in any case, independent artists don't release an album, like one album in more than 2 years, so it for us that, and it's not driven by a brief or a deadline, so to speak. तो वहां पे because, and it's also an unadulterated expression of our creativity, which is something that we can do whatever we want in it. रही बात web series, they come with a schedule, they come are always on my head कि ये गाना खत्म करना है, गाना खत्म करना है, गाना खत्म. Same with films, you know. Initially, it used to be hard because I travel quite a bit with my band as well to do shows and stuff. But then I think management teams, and like big shout out to my management, Media Vantage here, and my band's management, Shark and Inc., for managing our lives so well that we don't have to stress about where to be at what point in time. So I think all of that now has been brought down to a science, that the scheduling happens in a way that we don't have to worry about it. अगर जब हम खुद करते थे तो बड़ा मुश्किल हो गए, कभी वो भूल गए, but now it's become easier for sure. Let's say if I'm working on a particular show or a film, अब मैंने अगर शो टाइम के लिए, आप शो टाइम में गाने आप 5 सुन रहे हैं, बट मैंने बनाए 10 गाने थे या 12 गाने थे. अब वो गाने भी जो बन गए हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं लग जाते हैं. बहुत अच्छी होती है कि चलो यहाँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मिहिर लाइक्स almost all the songs I send him, and then he will do a short list. He will listen to them again and again and again and again and again, and then he will say, okay, these 5 are the best out of the lot.
हाँ.
Or if you find them going to another project, give it to them. तो sometimes वैसा भी हो जाता है, तो उससे भी काफी टाइम बच जाता है. All in all, it's a good experience in the sense कि there's nothing to lose. There's always. So I think, yeah, now at this point, I think it's manageable.
Right.
And I'm also getting to a stage where I now have a team and I've like hired more people. So I think life is going to get slightly better. Yeah.
Amen to that. But your music is speaking to the audience. But अगर मैं आनंद की बात करूं as a music lover, what kind of music touches your soul?
I honestly like music that has strong melody, and lyrically also it needs to speak to me. And modern electronic, because there are kids now writing this new kind of music that is so fresh, and I need to learn from them. So for me, 2 hours every day is just listening to new kind of music from all over the world, internationally, from India. It's music that really speaks to me is when somebody has really spent time on crafting a great catchy melody. After a performance or after listening to a song, if the audience does not go back humming the tune, then the song has failed for me. So for me, even by other composers or other musicians as well.
Right. So on that note, may you keep creating that kind of music which speaks to हम भी जब सुने तो फिर गुनगुनाते हुए बाहर निकले. And wishing you all the luck for the success Showtime and any other project जो आप future में करें. And thank you so much for giving your time for this interview.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Bye bye.